Subscribe to Mario Bobino's YouTube channel. See you later.
Yo, welcome to Debonair Productions, LLC. I see ya with your host, Mario Bobino. T. Calloway signing.
Hello, viewers, and welcome to another edition of I See You, Karega Hart. Congratulations on the state championship 2024. So much to talk about, but first, 21 gun salute on that victory. So let's start off the interview. What's the feeling like to finally win the first state basketball championship in Oakland Tech's history? Now, keep in mind, you got close last year. So what's the feeling?
Several different feelings that I've experienced over the last, month now. Initially, there was a feeling of relief. We got to that championship game a couple of times before, some 20 years ago with Coach McGavitt and those awesome teams in 2003 and 2004. And fortunately, I was able to attend those games, and I was there to support them and root them on, and they came up short. And I was relieved that we got the job done this year, a Division II state title against Centennial Bakersfield. So I was relieved, happy, excited for our kids. And it really didn't hit me Saturday night. It was a sense of relief, like a lot of tension left my body. And then it became actually real to me on Monday morning when the season was officially over. And normally I'll be getting ready. I was up still, getting ready for practice, and we didn't have practice. And it kicked in to me that we had won the state championship, and I was showing up to the school with the trophy. And I went right over to Coach O'Keefe's classroom, who was my teacher here at Oakland Tech in 94, 95, and took a big picture with him with the trophy. So it was definitely a sense of relief and excitement coming to the school on that Monday, and everybody congratulating us, and the phone calls and the support from alum and different community members, and of course everybody that's connected to the Oakland Tech community and the Oakland community in a whole. It's definitely special. Being an Oakland kid and winning it one for the hometown, for sure.
Now, you said Oakland kid, but actually you was born in Detroit, Michigan, and then you came out here, I believe, once you was in the first grade. So once your family moved or migrated out here to Oakland, California, what schools did you attend?
So I went to Horseman Elementary School. I went there from first grade to midway through the fifth grade. Neighborhood was getting bad. I grew up off of Congress and High Street. We moved to Coolidge. Most people that's familiar with Oakland know where Coolidge is. I moved right across the street from Bret Hart Middle School, or junior high school at the time. I went there. I went to Sequoia Elementary School for a year and a half, and then on to Bret Hart. And then I graduated from Bret Hart and played basketball there for Coach Larry Smith, Eric Govan. No, that's not Eric Govan. Is is Mr. Govan's son. Eric Govan played there as he played over at Skyline. But Coach Govan coached me, and Coach Roy Brown, who was a McClymonds legend, coached me at Bret Hart as well. And then I went to Skyline for 6 weeks. A lot of people don't know that about me. I went to Skyline for 6 weeks. People that were around at the time know I transferred from Skyline to Oakland Tech, and then my journey began here, being a Bulldog.
So kudos, and may it so rest in peace, Larry Smith, good friend of mine. What made you want to get into coaching?
A lot of reasons is a lot of those people that I just mentioned. I had a strong family. Growing up in Oakland, I was a latchkey kid. Both of my parents worked. The after school hours were really important. Me and my brother Jason were involved in sports. We were also involved in the things that were going on in the neighborhood. So the city of Oakland Parks and Rec, when they used to have a huge influence over the elementary schools and the middle schools, and they had employees working at the schools. It was, playing sports. I mean, I started off playing at Horseman. Um, Actually, I originally started off playing over at Rainbow. Brian Shorty Foe was my first coach here in Oakland, and we actually came. He came from New Orleans the same time I came from Detroit. So Brian Shorty Foe was my first coach. I was in the first grade playing for Shorty over at Rainbow. But yeah, all the teachers, all the coaches that I had, the influence of Oakland Parks and Rec, and Manette there was, folks may or may not remember her, but she was a union organizer for SEIU. She also worked side by side with my dad, Karega Hart or Rodney Hart, with SEIU, and yeah, people like that, that I saw giving back to the community since I was a kid. That really influenced me to get into coaching. I mean, I love the game of basketball. I started off playing when I was in the first grade. If anybody's um, familiar with Horseman Elementary School and that whole area around Fremont High School, knows that it was a lot of ballers that played over at Horseman. And I saw some of the best basketball being played right in my own neighborhood. Scott Alexander, shout out to Scott Alexander over at Fremont. He was my neighbor over at when I lived over by Horseman Elementary School. And he was one of the people that actually first started teaching me how to play basketball. And I've been coaching against him for a long time, and people don't really understand our connection. But he was one of the people, so to speak, that put the ball in my hand as a 7, 8 year old. Instead of putting the crack rock in my hand, he was putting a basketball in my hand. And I saw those type of people that were in my neighborhood, that cared about the young people. And so that really left an imprint on me. I always knew that I would probably at some point get into coaching once the ball stopped bouncing for me as a player, because I love the game so much.
So my next question is, what was it like playing for Coach Mack when you were here at Tech?
Coach Mack was like a second father to me. Like I said, I'm just about all my coaches were like father figures, and I was lucky and blessed to have a father at home, but then to still have that reinforcement of values while being away from home, and those after school hours, those key hours. He was a man of integrity. He held us accountable. It didn't matter, how many minutes you played. Like Coach McGavie was definitely somebody who was big on discipline, big on character building, and understanding that winning at all costs wasn't what we did here at Oakland Tech. So it didn't matter what type of player you were. If you didn't do things the right way, he wasn't gonna play. And I was really fortunate to have somebody like that really just cared about not only me but everybody that played for him, and cared enough to hold people accountable. And that's what a lot of folks and a lot of coaches are missing, is that you have to care enough to show some tough love, and sometimes that means letting a kid go and letting them dig their own grave, so to speak, when they're not doing right. So I was fortunate to have Coach McGavitt. He was at the state championship game. He was at our NorCal final. Man, it was huge for him to walk in the building. I haven't seen him in a while, and just to show love, like it was big for me.
So great answer. My next question is, under your guidance as a coach, What can your players expect from you?
Structure, something that, I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, and the basketball, the court is an extension of the classroom. The lesson plan or the practice plan is always going to be there. They can always expect that, that we have a plan, and the plan is for us to plan for success. People ask me all the time, they're like, how y'all think y'all gonna do? And I'm like, I think we gonna win because that's what we prepare to do. Like I don't think about losses. And because we're playing a game of basketball, somebody's gonna win, somebody's gonna lose, but we're always preparing to win games. So I try to make sure that we do everything necessary, regardless of whoever we're playing, regardless of if people think they're really good or not very good or not very talented. Like we do our due diligence to make sure that they don't cheat the game and that they're prepared. When a student that's coming to play for us understand that we're about academics. This is a high school, and we're trying to prepare them for the world and expand their mind and get them. Not everybody's going to be an elite athlete, and nor do they need to be for them to be a professional at something in life. So we talk a lot about, what are they actually good at other than basketball or whatever sport that they're playing. Shout out to Marcus Thompson II, who's a big time sports writer right now, but he was my teammate here at Oakland Tech and one of my best friends at the time. And we all knew that he was a big time writer when he was here at Oakland Tech. So we're not surprised, but we talk about talents other than just a sport. We have a lot of kids are into music, a lot of kids are into media, a lot of kids are into a lot of different things, and just getting to know them as a whole person is important to me and my coaching staff. But understanding that once you are part of this culture, that you're family for life, and we try to create a family type of atmosphere. We try to create a brotherhood, and in which we hold each other accountable, and that's what my coaching staff is about. Coach Jiminy Givens is one of my senior coaches. He's been with me, I think, 9 years now total, and older gentleman did a lot of coaching and throughout Oakland, and he's someone that I lean on, and he's someone that holds me accountable. And hey, man, you need to take that. You need to deal with that a little differently. So then I also have a lot of other coaching mentors, but the structure is here for us to be successful. We want to make sure that our kids are on point academically, socially, spiritually, and they work their tail off.
That's what's up. So I had the pleasures of getting to know you back in '95 when you was actually the point guard for Tech. You guys had the little Louisville cut. I'm like, that's odd. So what was it like when you played in the OAL?
Man, the whole league from top to bottom had nothing but talent. I mean, from Castlemont to Fremont, Skyline, Mac, us, we were super talented. Fremont at the time was on a major run. They in '95 they lost to Mater Dei in the state championship game. The games against Fremont were classics. Coming out of the OEL, I mean, at the time only one team coming out of the league qualified for NorCal, and I want to say 5 out of the 6 teams that year were in the top 25 in the Bay Area, and we were one of them. And we ended up in '95. We were 5-5 in league, and we lost to Oakland High twice. I'm not going to talk about the game where we lost to Oakland High at Oakland High, but they beat us at Tech in the game that we needed to win, and they played really well. Shout out to Terrence Henry. A lot of folks don't remember that guard over at Oakland High at the time, but T. Han went to work on us. He was actually really underrated, in my opinion. A lot of people don't talk about Terrence Henry, and I want to say he worked over at Juvenile Hall for a little bit. but he had a great game against us. And we ended up losing in 95 on a coin toss. It was a three-way tie between us and no, actually it was a three-way tie. I'm not sure because Oakland High ended up getting a nod because they beat us twice. So they got the second seed, and we had a coin flip for the third seed, and we lost on a coin flip. So, but yeah, playing in '95 as a point guard, I made second team All League. Averaged 11 assists a game. I want to say I averaged about eight points, 11 assists. Different era type of point guard. A lot of the point guards during that time were the J Kidd, Stockton type of, at least trying to emulate that type of point guard play. A lot of the scoring guards are, that's more of a new thing now. So I wasn't a big time scoring guard. I was assist, defender, try to get it that way.
Okay, so you're a teacher now. You teach history.
Yes.
Why do you like teaching?
For the reasons that I talked about before, the educators in my life really made an impact. From elementary school, from my first black teacher in the first grade. I sat in first grade just like this when I came to California. My first black teacher, Miss DeBeek, over at Horace Mann. From teachers like Roy Brown over at Bret Hart, who was probably one of the most positive men that I ever met in my life. He was just like, oh yeah, Hart, like you can do it. I had Oakland Tech at the time was a HBCU, so I had so many impactful teachers. Coach O'Keefe, who's still here. Coach Wayne Brooks was a history teacher when I was here. My English teacher, Ms. Matthews, rest in peace, really taught me how to write. A lot of folks in my community held me accountable, and then my parents were big on education. So education, community, and really just trying to build up the people in the community. So no better way to do it than teaching. But originally I started in probation in Sacramento. And when I finished college over at Sacramento State University, and it was hard coming home at night and understanding that I couldn't really make an impact. And so I decided to get into education to kind of stop our kids from getting to the point of getting in prison. So the school to prison pipeline, and understanding that we needed more influences, black male influences in the classroom, as opposed to working with students in probation, and may or may not be able to help them, but they're already in the system, and people that understand the system understand it's hard to get out of the system once they're in it. So really just trying to help kids from getting into the system.
That's what's up. So you brought up a word that I like to use a lot, and I like to share it with people: accountability.
Right.
So when you say that word accountability, what comes to mind?
Man, holding people accountable and holding yourself accountable is important, and to have a circle of friends and family that's not afraid to tell you that you're wrong, and to be able to reflect and look at yourself and to be able to say, okay, how can I fix things? How do I go about things a better way? And how do I do right and treat people right? And accountability. If we teach our kids, of course we're going to make mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes. And it's important to think about what you're doing before you do things. But of course we're human, so we're going to make mistakes. Nobody knows your intentions. You can't look at it and tell somebody, well, sometimes you can look at and tell somebody intentions based on their body language, but most of the time, even when you don't intend to hurt somebody, that you can hurt somebody. So just being accountable and being able to reflect and to be able to receive feedback and to be able to make change for the better. So the more and more I try my best to be accountable. I've been married for 20 years now in July, so it hasn't always been easy, and not always been easy to look at my my wrongs. So just trying to learn from that, and then to be able to reflect with our student athletes and our kids. So and to be transparent. So I'm not always right as a coach, as a teacher, as a father, as a husband, and to try to change some of the things and be better.
That's what's up. So, I'd like to close out this interview. Is there something that people don't know about you, Karega, that you would like for them to know? They just see a basketball coach. They just see maybe the hoopster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of growing up, a lot of people saw me as a basketball player. You know, I've always been into reading a lot. I played a lot of different sports. I was on the swim team. I wrestled here for Coach Sherman with Wantu Wazuri. I played baseball with Oakland Babe Ruth with Coach Nate Smith with McCrae Sporting Goods. Like basketball for me, I played for one of the original Oakland Rebel teams under Coach Howard Gamble Jr. I mean, the connection to Oakland is the roots are really deep. I mean, I've been an open book for people that actually really know me. A lot of people think I'm this mean, stern type of guy, but I'm honestly, I'm really caring and loving and really funny for the most part. I look serious for the most part, but man, in that serious look I'm always joking. I could think of 1,000 jokes. And growing up in a place like Oakland where you always capping and clowning, like every kid growing up here know how to do all of that, and you a comedian in a lot of different rights. So I'm not gonna say I'm really funny, but I think I would kill it on an open mic comedian show night. So don't hold me to it, but if you gave me a microphone, I'd probably do it.
People may hold you to that. Now, I forgot there's one question I wanted to ask you because I remember last year you guys lost to Oakland High, and I remember I filmed the game in, and I sent you a copy of the game, and I know you was a little disappointed in that. What was it like to overcome that obstacle? Because you and Oakland High, you guys always battled, and you really wanted to win that state last year.
Of course.
Because if you guys would have won, obviously you guys probably would have won it as well. Yeah. How did it feel to lose and then to prepare yourself after that defeat? Because I know you was hurt about it. So just let's close on that.
So last year's game, it was really storybook for both programs. And Oakland High ended up winning the state championship, and they earned it. Props to Oakland High for winning the Division III state championship last year. The programs, it's like there was a lot of other stories within that. About 3 or 4 kids in the Oakland High program play with 3 or 4 kids that played in my program at Oakland Tech. Some of those kids I coached at 9 years old for Oakland Pal. Some of those kids play with the Oakland Rebels that I coach. There was a lot of connections to families and players during that time with those 2 teams. Of course, we wanted to win that game, but the same way you win is the same way you want to lose, and that's with honor and integrity. And it's a basketball game, and we got outplayed in that game, and so they deserve to win that game and move on and win the state championship. But as I was going through it, because anytime you lose a game, it's always about how you react and what the kids are going to learn the most by how their leader reacts. And as I congratulated the other team, of course my kids were hurt. Of course I was hurt. And as a man, I'm going to stand up straight and upright and accept what happened. And I sat my kids down on the bench. We allowed them to celebrate, which they earned. And we went through the trophy ceremony where we received the second place trophy. And from then on, and I told my kids to remember how they felt. And for the ones that were returning, I mean, of course, I felt really bad for the kids that we had a lot of seniors on that team that I've been coaching since they were little kids, and of course, I feel really bad for them. But it's not gonna always be a storybook ending in a game called life. So you can't always expect a storybook ending, and I think they really learned from learning how to accept defeat. And the guys that were returning, they remember how that felt, and we held on to that for 365 days. I took that second place trophy and I put it in my closet where we put the ball bags, and it reminded me every day that we got a bigger goal at mine, and that's what we discussed all year this year. We went 10-0 in league, and there was, the kids were excited, but we didn't celebrate. We won the section title. The kids were excited. There was some celebration, but we understood what we were playing for, which was to get back to that NorCal game. And when we got back to that NorCal game, it was fitting that it was Oakland High. The year before, the feeling was different between the two teams. So last year's team, we beat Oakland High 3 times. And then when we went in the locker room and found out we were playing Oakland High, it was honestly a sense of the kids were like, dang, we got to beat them again. And I know if I was in the other locker room, I would have been like, man, we get to redeem ourselves. So it was a shift. So our kids were like, we have to beat them again. And on the other end, locker room, it's like, we get to play them again. So for this year, we changed. Like I put it in the atmosphere for them. I said after the section championship game, we had a feeling they were going to be in the same bracket again, and kind of a similar scenario could play out. And I told them, I said, we want some more. We want 4. And I told them, I said, we want Oakland High in that 4th game. And that's what we got, was Oakland High in the 4th game. And they were the mentality when we went in the locker room after, I believe, beating Del Oro and finding out that we were going to play Oakland High. All the kids was like, yeah, that's what we want. We want some more. We want 4. And that's what the mentality was different with this team playing in that 4th game in the season. And Oakland High had a really good team, and they're very well coached. And, it just mentality going into the battle. I decided before it was Oakland High or anybody that because we were the 2 seed, our commissioner asked, where would we want to play the NorCal final if we were in the NorCal final. I said, we're playing right here at the Doghouse. We earned it, and that's where we're going to play. So regardless if it was Bellarmine or Oakland High, we were going to play at Oakland Tech, and that's what we decided. I think the year before that it was such anticipation of Oakland High, Oakland Tech, like it was just an immediate, let's find a bigger venue for everybody to be able to witness and experience. So that's how we ended up at Laney.
Well, that's what's up, Karega Hart. I'd like to appreciate you for coming on I See You, because on I See You, we recognize people that's doing things in the community that should get their flowers, which you definitely deserve. Once again, congratulations on the D2 championship, and continued success, my brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Subscribe to Mario Bobino's YouTube channel. See you later.
Yo, thanks for watching. I see you with your host, Mario Bobino. We out. T. Calloway.